Okay, so welcome everybody. Good evening or good morning or good afternoon, wherever you happen to be. We have people here from all over, from the States, from Canada, from England, as well as from Israel. So hello to all our members and guests who are with us for this joint Voices Israel Awards event for our 2 annual poetry competitions. So as I said, I'm recording each competition separately, so there will be 2 recordings, and I'll put them on the Voices Israel YouTube channel, and we'll send out the link to the recordings to everybody who registered to the event and to all our own members. So first of all, to our fellow poets, young and old, and to all the friends, relatives, Voices members and guests who are with us tonight, welcome to this awards event. As we all know, I think, the competition commemorates a talented young poet called Sagi, who died tragically at the age of cancer, at the age of 15. Her grandparents, Professor Anthony Joseph and his wife Denise, decided to commemorate her by sponsoring this poetry competition for students, school students who write poetry in English. Voices Israel has been delighted to collaborate with Professor Joseph by annually organizing and judging the competition, which is now in its 4th year. We do hope it will encourage high school students to write poetry like Bar. I am not actually sure whether Professor Joseph is with us. I don't see him at the moment, and he certainly intended to be, but he had to take his wife to the hospital for a small procedure, and it wasn't sure that he would be back in time, or that if he's still in the hospital, if he would be able to log in from there. So if he isn't here, when the time comes, I will just show his presentation of what he intended to say. So welcome especially to our talented young poets. So I am trying to mute somebody, fine. Okay. The prize winners, Reut Katz, Shilo Aloni, Amit Shaham, and Or Gordin, all of whom will be reading their poems this evening. We're so happy to have you with us. And also, of course, to the 4 winners of an honorable mention. Marta Zorin, Eyal Bechor, is that how you say it, Eyal? It's,
yeah, pretty much.
Great, it's hard to tell when it's written in English. Yarden Or and Reut Widorsky, congratulations to you all. We love your talent, and we're looking forward to hearing you read. And please don't be nervous, you are among friends. In fact, we hope you'll go on writing poetry in due course. We'll even join our Voices Israel community of English language poets. When we hold an awards ceremony face-to-face, we of course invite each winner to accept his or her prize certificate from the competition administrator, but there's a limit to what Zoom can do. So the certificates and prizes have had to be mailed to you all, but we can at least show everyone what the certificate looks like. So I am now sharing a screen. That is the certificate that everybody who received a prize or an honorable mention received. We will stop sharing that for the moment, go back to seeing everybody. I'd now like to thank the competition's 3 judges. Okay. Susan Bell, Itamar. Please, would you mute yourself? I'll mute anybody who joins and isn't muted. Voices was supposed to mute new arrivals, but apparently it's beyond their abilities. So there is still something for humans to do in this world. And I'm saying thank you to our competition's 3 judges, Susan Bell, Itamar Bloomfield, and Amiel Schotz, who've once again had the hopefully enjoyable task of reading all the entries and deciding between them. They're a wonderful team. Thank you so much to all of them. And special thanks are due to Michelle Buskin, who took over from Susan Bell this year as the contest administrator. It's especially due to Michelle's continuous efforts to publicize the competition among English teachers that we got far more entries this year than we did the year before. And last but not least, a big thank you to the English teachers who encouraged their students to send in poems. And to those of you English teachers who have joined us, we hope you'll remember us next year too and spread the word among the students. And now, if Professor Joseph is here, I would like to invite him to say a few words. And after that, we will screen a lovely video of one of Bar's poems set to music. So first of all, let me screen share his presentation. And now we need to ask Professor Joseph, are you actually here? If so, would you please unmute yourself? I will see. It sounds as if he could not be with us. Just a moment, just to make sure. I'm going to check the participants list. No, he isn't with us. Okay, so I will share his presentation, and I'm afraid you'll have to put up with me reading it instead of him. So he sent it to me as a PDF. He says, I was thrilled by the response to the 4th Bar Sagi Young Poets Prize. As I said, we got a lot of entries this year. And he would like to congratulate the winners, Raoult Katz, 1st prize, Philo Aloni, 2nd prize, Amit Shaham and Or Golding, joint 3rd prize. And the honorable mentions, Malta, Yarden, Eyal, and Raoult Widorski. He is going to send each of you Bar's poetry book, See, Saw and Spread My Wings, which was published by Gvanim in Tel Aviv in 2019. And in each book, he will put several copies of a colorful new bookmark. He asks you to pass these out to your friends. He says those who actually read books, of course, I hope they will do. Some of the less lucky ones who did not get a prize or an honorable mention may be feeling a bit of envy at this point, he says, and Bar wrote 2 poems about that. The first, like a fairy, cautioned, don't envy me as I shine, because inside I am all burning up and all I can see is the hospital. He had hoped to present it today set to music. In each of the previous 3 years, he had a new video which we shared with everybody, but he didn't manage it this time. Okay, so we're going to play one of the older ones. The second poem Bar wrote about envy was The Green Monster, in which Bar herself is the envious one. She wrote, this is so unfair. Jealousy rises up inside. I try to push it down, but I can't fight the tide. I see those kids having so much fun each day. They can run around. They can laugh and play. The first Green Monster, of course, was Shakespeare's Othello, who strangles his wife Desdemona in a fit of jealousy. We are happily not there. Bar's fate is less severe, but judge for yourself. He continues, I'm turning into a green monster, and everybody is running away. I'm turning into a green monster, I'm crying while all those kids play. She survived 4 years from cancer with countless visits to the hospital, and she wrote about that too. Endless journeys every day. Will the pain never go away? Nothing matters, ever stay. And despite all this, she was full of optimism and good cheer, determined to live her life to the full. Her best friend, Miriam Stein, attests to this in a stunning biography, of which he has put here a few extracts, which he translated from the Hebrew. The disease, she wrote, didn't hamper Bar in her courage and in her stubbornness. Each day she tried to live as if it were her last, and insisted that I, Miriam, should be part of every step she took. I was privileged to be with Bar in her last days. Even then, I was sure that she would pull through. I was completely blinded by her self-confidence, by her courage, even though I knew she was fearful. She fought like a lioness, and it is in that we measure true courage. Professor Joseph also sponsors 2 other competitions at Bar-Ilan and at Tel Aviv University. The Tel Aviv one he sponsors with the Sagi family, and Miriam is going to read her biography of Bar in Hebrew at the Tel Aviv University prize-giving ceremony, hosted by Dr. Dara Barnat, one of the very first to recognize Bar's talent. It will be held on June the 27th at 4 o'clock in Tel Aviv. He's telling us this in case anybody wishes to go to that ceremony as well. It has nothing to do with this competition, but it does have to do with other literary competitions in Bar's memory. Okay, if you would like a copy of Bar's poetry book, this is obviously not addressed to the winners and honorable mentioned winners, because he already said he's going to send each of you a copy free of charge, but anybody else who wants a copy can order it through him. And if any of you are going to the Bar-Ilan or Tel Aviv ceremonies, it will apparently be being sold there too. He will also put the bookmark, okay, and distribute it in these meetings, in these books. And he says, I requested to screen my favorite of the older videos, but in actual fact, I decided at the last minute that although Journey is a really beautiful poem, I would prefer to screen share the video of her poem Hope, because it's a lot more optimistic. I'm going to stop screen sharing now, and I'm going to go and screen share instead the video of Hope, which is on YouTube.
Hope like a small flower blooming in my chest, growing and growing, I don't want it to rest. Hope like a child, keep it safe and warm, bundled up against a winter storm. Keep it safe for a rainy day. Keep it safe for a rainy day. A smart little light in a small cafe. Hope like a small flower blooming in my chest, growing and growing, I don't want it to rest. Hope like a child, keep it safe and warm, bundled up against a winter storm. Keep it safe for a rainy day. Keep it safe for a rainy day. A smart little
Okay, and I'm
Judy,
Yeah.
could I say a couple of words?
This is Professor Joseph. You arrived?
Yeah, well, I didn't know what button to press in order to get through. I tried to phone you up. It didn't do any good.
No, I'm sorry. I have my phone on silent when I'm since I
Yes,
can't
I
mute
understand.
myself.
I didn't know how to get through.
Please say a few words. We did already show your the presentation that you sent me.
Yes.
And I was just about to say, as one of our people, Celia, has said, that is an absolutely beautiful video. In fact, all the videos are beautiful. And please take the stage then and say a few words.
Yes, well, I would particularly like to congratulate the winners of the prize and also the participants for participating, because they are just as important as the winners in some sense. They make the winners. So Ruth Katz got the first prize, Sheila Aloni the second prize, Amit Shacham and Or Golden the third prize. And then there were 5 honorable mentions: Marta Zorin, Yarden Or, Eyal Bechor, and Roy Widowski. I assume...
Professor Joseph, Tony, we did already...
Yes, I know, but I wanted to thank them personally.
Yeah.
I thought they might like it.
Yeah.
And of course, yes, you already mentioned their names, but somehow the person who gives the prize should congratulate them, because otherwise they feel a little estranged. I assume they'll be reading their poems. That's correct. So we can all appreciate their nice words. And I'm sending the book to them, and also some copies of the bookmark, which I hope they will distribute to all their friends who actually read books. Some people don't read books these days, so it'll be no use for them. And the bookmarks contain some information on Bar, and hopefully we will have another video out in a couple of months. It's not sure, we will. And the full version of Miriam's very, very beautiful biography will be read by her in Tel Aviv University in Hebrew. I'm trying to make a translation of it, but that will be for later. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Joseph. And thank you so much for sponsoring this prize. Okay, so now I'd like to invite the competition administrator, Michelle Bustin, to say a few words. Michelle?
Yes, I'm here. Okay, good evening, everybody. I was very happy as a Voices member. I've been a Voices member for several years. That when Judy asked me to take on this job, I was happy, a bit worried about it, and it was a big challenge. And I want to thank Judy and Susan for helping me at the beginning and during the process. The work was very interesting and challenging, and especially towards the end, towards the deadline, when there was such a rush of entries, people suddenly thought, okay, I've got to send my poem now or never. And there was quite a lot of work here. The judges were very cooperative and really dedicated in their work, and I thank them too for helping. And it was very uplifting to see the number of young poets so different, of different ages, different backgrounds, different places. I saw where they came from, different levels of English, different styles of poetic talent. And I think each and every poet, prize winners and non-prize winners, deserves applause. And also, I think their teachers deserve applause too for encouraging them to write. And I hope that we'll continue like this in the future. So good luck to everybody and congratulations.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. And before we get to the reading of the poems, finally, one of our judges, Amiel Schatz, also said he would like to say a few words. Is he here? Amiel, are you here? Once again, I will just check with the participants whether he's here or not. Apparently, don't have, okay. Okay, apparently not. So that's rather regret that, but still, if Amiel isn't here, then we will move on to the reading of the winning poems. And again, I will screen share the texts and invite each poet in turn to read. So let's screen share. I am trying to see where the screen share has gone to. Okay. I left it on Professor Joseph's talk, so now we will move on, excuse me, to the next, which is the winning poems. And incidentally, each of you separately can move the border of this screen share, of this screen, okay, to make it as large or as small as you would like, so that you can see as many or as few of the people attending as you would like. Sorry. So the first prize went to Ruut Katz, who is 14 years old, and it was awarded for her poem, The Little Things, which is an apparently simple poem on the surface, but it has a deep message to it. Ruut, could you please read your poem? Yeah. If you are, you're going to have to unmute yourself, of course.
Yeah, I know how to unmute myself. Thank you. Should I start reading?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. Okay, the little things. Little things, aren't they so little? So tiny that we almost can't see them. So small that we barely feel them. But without little drops of rain, we wouldn't have water. Without little pieces of puzzles, we wouldn't have a picture. Without little bees, we wouldn't have honey. Without little atoms, we wouldn't have a world. And without a little heart, we would never feel love. And that's our life. Without the little people who are close to us and care about us, we wouldn't have family and friends. So let's all appreciate the little things, because without them, we wouldn't have anything.
Thank you, Ruut. I'm afraid I was a little remiss there and I didn't move it down in time. I was more trying to see how to get the video done, how to get the screen. Okay, so then we'll move on to Shiloh Aloni's poem. Shiloh is 18 and he got won second place for City Lights. This is a mature poem, which couldn't be more different from Ruut's. And together, the two of them illustrate the breadth of talent that this contest has brought forth from our Israeli students, and also perhaps the breadth of experience in the years between 14 to 18. So let's all welcome Shiloh. First of all, let's give a clap to Ruut for...
Susan, could we possibly hear Ruut's again? Because I was just trying to reach Amiel, but he'd forgotten to come on, so he'll come on eventually.
Okay, Ruut, are you willing to read yours again? Sorry,
okay.
Let's do it properly this time. I will not play around with the side screen.
Super, thank you.
Okay,
thank you.
And first of all, we will do what we should have done the first time and give Ruut a round of applause for her poem. Please, everybody, show hands. Yalla, Ruut.
Okay, the little things, aren't they so little? So tiny that we almost can't see them. So small that we barely feel them. But without little drops of rain, we wouldn't have water. Without little pieces of puzzles, we wouldn't have a picture. Without little bees, we wouldn't have honey. Without little atoms, we wouldn't have a world. And without a little heart, we would never feel love. And that's our life. Without the little people who are close to us and care about us, we wouldn't have family and friends. So let's all appreciate the little things, because without them, we wouldn't have anything.
Thank you, Ruut. And this time everybody got to see it.
Can I just make a little sarcastic comment? I spent 1 hour this morning getting rid of little ants, which you can hardly see, and which give you a bite, which leaves you stinging for the whole day. So not all little things are good.
Oh, so that's okay. Okay, Shiloh, we are back to you. Please, could you, first of all, a round of applause for Shiloh for winning second prize. And Sheila, would you please read City Lights?
Okay. City lights. Sex means every nothing outside. Haunted boulevards swarm with bruised daughters and sons of the night. I was crying over you, my darling, while I thought you were back to embrace me. But I only break and shatter, don't I? And only my blue walls will listen when I cry. A lovesick whore of the silver screen, with fear of falling out of a dream. Upon seeing the corpse, I gasp and I scream, pretending I definitely can't recognize my own face. Everything fades into white, into lost secret ways. We are but accidents waiting to occur, washed away by the red of the gold sunset blur, wishing upon blazing shooting stars, right before we're swallowed by the emaciated, starving city lights.
Thank you, Sheila. Thank you. I'm especially impressed by that last verse, the last stanza, I think is lovely. Okay, so now we go on to the third prize. And for the first time this year, okay, we have two poets who tied for third place. Amit Shaham, aged 15, for Feathers, and Or Gordian, aged 17, for Glass Skin. We've never before been unable to decide between two poems, but our judges liked each of these so much that they felt it would be unfair to choose between them. So let's welcome first Amit reading Feathers, another deceptively simple poem that bears reflection and has a surprise ending. And after that, Or Gordian for Glass Skin. So let's give a hand, please, to Amit.
Hello.
And I will, hi, lovely to have you with us, Amit.
I'm now 16, by the way.
Well, okay,
I'm not 15
whatever you
anymore.
wrote when you put in, when you sent in the poem is what you get.
Yeah, I know.
And meanwhile, time goes on. Malaso. Okay, Amit, please.
I left you my feathers, big and small, for you to hold on to remember in the cold. I left them with you for all that you feel, happiness, anger, fright, thrill. I didn't give you the feathers. They were just left by me, but I knew you would be the one to receive them, even if when you found them, I wasn't here. I left you my feathers and a single question: what will you do when the only thing left are the feathers?
Thank you. Reflection, as I said, that one. Thank you very much, Amit. And now the second, the tie for third prize, Glass Skin by Or Gordian. Or? Are you here? Hi, Or. Okay. So let's hear Or Gordian read her poem, Glass Skin.
Glass skin. I can cut you, leave you bleeding, walk away with no remorse. But one small stone will have me broken. You don't need to use full force. And I may be beautiful only if you try to look, because you can easily see through me, and maybe you should. I've got glass skin, stained yet clean. I've got glass skin, I take it on the chin. And you can build me as you want with only a little warmth, my dangerous, delicate glass skin.
Thank you. Round of applause, please, for all. Before we go on to the honourable mentions, I'd like to stop sharing for a second and see if our judge, Amiel, who wanted to say a few words, has managed meanwhile to log in. Are you here, Amiel? Amiel? Susan, you said he just forgotten he was trying to log in?
I've sent him twice the link. The first time he said he couldn't open it on on WhatsApp. He's terribly upset, so I sent it to him on Gmail, and I hope that he's managing. I don't know how else to invite him, really.
Okay, well, what we'll do is we will go on now to read the honorable mentions, and then we will give it another try. If he isn't here by the end of the reading, then I'm terribly sorry. It's really a shame, but there's going
I
to be...
don't know if you need to call him in or whatever.
No, I don't need to. Everybody just lands in here. Everybody just arrives automatically.
Okay, I'm trying him again. Okay.
Okay, so we will go on down in this file, and we now come to the honorable mentions. Okay, there is no arrangement of order in the honorable mentions. They all gained an honorable mention. It's not first, second, third, but we put them in the file in the alphabetical order of the poem's title, so that's the way in which we'll read them. Unlike in our adult Reuben Rose competition, there are no set number of honorable mentions that have to be awarded in this prize. In fact, the judges don't have to award any. So the fact that they awarded 4 is a sign of the quality of the entries we received this year. Okay. So as I said, I'm going to call on the poets to read them in the order in which they are in the screen share, starting with Eyal Bahor, who is age 16 or was when the poem was written.
I'm still 16, so it's...
You're still 16. Okay,
yeah.
Time has not moved as fast for you as it has.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay, so like Sin X, I understood here that basically it starts off from the Schrodinger's box.
Yeah, pretty much.
But the rest of it, the Sin X part, I'm afraid, is your kettle of fish. Please go ahead and read.
Like a cat inside a box. Like a cat inside a box with a shred of light to decide its fate. Here is the box. A box from which there's no escape, a box that a wave decides its fate. And there is you, standing outside like a free dog, chasing a ball. If it's close or far, I don't know. With a million beams of light hitting you, without one deciding your fate. And the wave doesn't bother the cat no more. Is it because it repeats? Is the frequency the same? Does the amplitude differ? Because trust me, if the shred of light decides my fate, if the wave is my state, until you open the box, how will you know if I'm up or down? And if you bother to look inside, the box in which there's no escape, you will make me choose if I'm up or down. And I don't know if the state I was in before is also now.
Thank you, Eyal. Another poem with a bit of a sting in its tail. That's the best sort.
Quite literally.
Quite literally. So now the next honorable mention we have is by Malta Zolin.
Could I just ask, shouldn't it be not up or down, but dead or alive? Or, I mean, that was the moral of the story, right? Why did you choose up or down?
Because the fate of the cat is eventually decided by the sides in which the electron spins, if it spins up or spins down.
Up or down, but the cat itself is either dead or alive.
Yeah,
right?
but it is affected by the electron. So, and by the spin of the electron. So it's not really...
I is the wave rather than the cat?
What?
I said...
when you say I'm up or down, you mean the wave rather than the cat?
Well, I think he means himself, no?
I'm a bit confused by the question.
It's up to the poet. If you think that we could have what should I say, a discussion on the meaning of the poem, that's quite possible. As I said, apart from Schrodinger's cat, when we got to the waves and the amplitudes and the electrons, I decided this was for greater minds than mine, but nonetheless, I really like the poem. I like the imagery.
Yes, but you know, I mean, it would have been nicer if the up or down were dead or alive, because then you're talking about, well, I can't see the poem now, but
Well, we do have to move on, and I think
Okay.
all of us here who write poetry come to grips with the fact that there are poems that they said, I would have written that differently, but what can we do? It's not our poem, it's the poet's poem. So
I'm just making my own observation. Okay.
yeah. Okay, Marta, can we move on to you, please? Something very gentle.
Yes.
It's a lyrical, metrical poem, and I myself love metrical poetry and playing with rhymes. And I was really impressed by Marta's technical skill here. The way the meter she uses matches the poem's content, for instance, and her use of near rhymes, which I myself are in love with and not everybody appreciates. And especially as she's only 14. Are you still 14, Marta?
No, I'm 16 now.
Oh, so it was a poem from a little while ago. Okay, fine, but she was 14 when she wrote it. So let's give a hand to Marta.
Thank you.
Okay, please, Marta, read.
A light, salty breeze slips under my hair. I'm caught on the wind, my lungs full of air. I dance through the street while you're standing up there. Your silhouette lonely, it's mine to repair. We rock like a boat from one side to another. I feel myself float. There's no way I would rather give up on the shore and now go a bit further. Your wounds I will heal, your scars I will nurture. Each time that you'll cry, I'll say something gentle. No saying goodbye, we both know it's forever. I dream of the night when we'll end up together. It's not strange, I promise. I'll be so much better. I know that you're last, nothing's the same. I know it will cost me, but I'll finish the game. I'll wait for the chance when there's no one to blame. Then you'll turn to me without turning again. You are my light. It's to you I endeavor. No saying goodbye, we both know it's forever. I dream of the night when we'll end up together. It's not strange, I promise. I'll be very gentle.
Thank you. Lovely poem, Marta. Thank you. Okay. And we move on to Reut Widorsky, who I'm scared already to say is only 13, but at least she was when the poem was written. And at 13, she's our youngest winner. And this is a fun poem centered on that most essential of Jewish festival activities, eating. So again, show of hands, please. Let us all welcome Reut. Reut.
Where did you get such a big belly, my darling big belly child? I got it from eating the apples and honey on Rosh Hashanah and from munching pomegranate seeds. I got it from chewing dried fruit on Tu B'Shvat and devouring one donut after another on Hanukkah. I got it from biting latkes fried in oil and sucking sweets on Purim. I got it from crunching the matzah on Pesach and licking charoset too. I got it from nibbling roasted marshmallows and Lag BaOmer and indulging in cheesecake on Shavuot. When the end of the year came, I let out a big, long, smelly burp.
Thank you, Reut. I think this poem, all of the poems so far are showing us the vast range between age 13 and age 18, and the vast range of poems that our students have produced. And we're now returning to the top of the age range, to age 18, and to a very serious subject, handled with great honesty and bravery by our last honorable mention winner, Yarden Or, with Tomorrow, Next Week, Next Year. So a round of applause for Yarden, please. And Yarden, would you please read your poem?
Yes, thank you. Tomorrow, next week, next year. After years of small little suicides, I want to live. My rebellion is that I want to live. I will wake up in the same bed every morning, and once a week, I'll change my sheets. I'll drink a lot of water, and I'll eat a lot of fruit. I'll take vitamins in the form of gummy bears. I will buy that new backpack, goddammit. It will be useful for next year and on. I no longer hate the knocks on my door. I might let my friends come inside. No walls will be punched. I will find other feelings that I wish to feel other than pain. I will brush my teeth. and comb my hair. After such a long time, I will finally care. I will look both ways when I'm crossing the street, and I will stand behind a yellow line. I will look at green grass and flowers and know that in summer they'll die. I will wait. I'll wait for the flowers to bloom again. I'll wait for the pizza to arrive. I'll order a ticket to a concert in June. I'll book a flight with no cancellations. I'll look at university programs. I'll drive to the end of the country. I'll live.
Thank you, Yardel. That's a fantastic poem. Thank you for sharing it with us. I will stop the screen share now. Okay, and we're going to have one very last attempt to call on Amiel if he's managed to get here before. Amiel? No? Okay. In that case, all I can say is it's on a fittingly optimistic note, that of Yarden's, that we conclude this award ceremony for the Sagi Young Poets Prize.
Judy, Amiel is on, but he says he can't be heard.
He can't, well, did he, wait a minute, let me have a look.
He's on.
He's on. Here he is. Well, he needs to unmute himself. Amiel, you need to unmute yourself. Okay?
Oh, wait a minute. Now, I had, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Fine. Yes, we can hear you now.
Finally, I managed to make contact. I apologize deeply to everybody.
Amiel calling planet Earth. Please go ahead. We're at the end of all the readings, but we would like to hear your comments.
Well, first of all, my apologies. I'm so horrible at anything that has to do with email or all that stuff. Anyway, first of all, as one of the judges, I do want to add my very heartfelt congratulations to all the young participants in this year's competition. The standard was really, truly admirable. And with great talent and originality and creativity, I think that it really was a great pleasure to read your entries and to enjoy so much good poetry. I do offer one piece of advice. Every art has two sides, natural talent and craft. The talent must be nurtured and strengthened. The craft must be developed and sharpened. I would say, an essential way to do this is to find or set up a workshop group or hug to meet regularly, say once a month, to share and discuss your poetry with other poets, to receive honest feedback, be aware of how others hear and understand your writing. For the young, a more experienced poet who has full knowledge of the language, what is grammatical, what works in idioms, whether English or Hebrew, is essential. My comment on even the prize winners this year, or some of them at least, was that you could all benefit from workshopping and progress to become the truly fine poets that you're already becoming. I wish you all a great future in expressing yourselves in an art form that will give you so much throughout your life. I'm 87 and still writing and still finding it a challenge and still trying to learn. But so poetry will enrich your lives till the day you leave this world. And so I am ever grateful of how my life has been enriched. So thank you all and bless you all.
Thank you so much, Amiel. I couldn't agree with you more. We are all always learning and trying and to improve our poetry. And of course, that's one of the reasons why Voices Israel exists. At our monthly meetings, we do exactly what Amiel has said. We read our poems and we get feedback and critique on them. And we hope that you will go on writing poetry, all of you, and even join us, as I said, when you get to be old enough, which is basically any time from 17 or 18 on. So meanwhile, that was a wonderful hearing, and it's been a pleasure having you with us. What we're doing now is we're going to have a 5-minute break. I will stop the recording of this event. The Zoom will remain open. Anybody who wants can go and grab themselves a coffee, but we really do only have about 5 or 6 minutes. And then we'll come back and continue with the Reuben Rose part of the evening. So thank you, everybody. It's been wonderful having you with us. And I hope that we'll see you all, including the young poets, also for the second half.
Could I just say a couple of words?
Yes, please.
I hope that you will all be able to get a copy, either in Hebrew or in English, of Miriam's biography of Bar. It's very, very moving. At the moment, it's not available. It will be read in Tel Aviv University, at least a short version, and it's really wonderful biography. So I hope you'll all be able to get a copy. I don't know how to get it out to people. Maybe a newspaper will publish it. I don't know. But it's a really wonderful biography. And for all people who want to compete in this competition, it'll be a real motivation.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Joseph. Okay, so I am stopping the recording.